Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the HNE Podcast. This is the main podcast at HN Entertainment. I'm your host, Nick, and I'm joined by Aaron.
Hello, y'all. What's up? Good to be back.
Yep, and we have a voice that you probably have heard very recently. We got Luke.
Hey, guys. What's up?
Yeah, so it's been a while since we've done podcasts, which has mostly been just scheduling issues and all kinds of stuff going down behind the scenes, but I'm glad to have Luke back on these because it's been a while. Do you remember the last time we had you on a podcast?
Last time I was on a podcast, it was a Super Friends podcast, if I remember, and as was typical with the Super Friends podcast, nobody liked it, and we got called an assortment of names based on it. But that was just typical fashion for Super Friends. But no, I mean, it is glad to be back. I like talking with you guys about stuff, particularly all the really great things that happened recently and some of the not so great things.
So I guess moving on to our next topic, we did want to kind of touch upon our final thoughts going into episode 9, because that does get released as of this recording this upcoming Friday. So it's, we're at the end, the end for now of the Skywalker saga. Who knows if they'll continue things later, but as of now, this is like the end. This is their end game type movie now.
Speaking of legacy projects.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't like the Disney Star Wars movies. I haven't liked the sequel trilogy and the direction it's gone, but they have released some new stuff, new footage and stuff that's actually kind of got me a little bit excited. Like recently they showed a clip of like Kylo meeting Palpatine or something. Like that clip looked awesome.
Did they show Palpatine's face in it?
No. It like he goes to this like ice planet that Palpatine is on or something, and you kind of hear like voiceover. But that just looked cool, and I don't know. Like we see it in a couple days, so I'm trying to get excited for it, trying to get my hopes up, but at the same time, you gotta kind of go in and just hope for the best, I guess. I don't know, Aaron, what are you feeling about it though? Because you're doing the whole marathon now.
Yeah. The reason I'm doing the marathon is because one, it's episode 9, it's the end of all these movies, but two, didn't J.J. Abrams say that this is the end of the entire saga, not just the end of the trilogy, but the entire saga? Yeah, so it has to like
wrap up plots and threads and all this.
So it's interesting because I know a lot of people hate it's very divisive, these new movies, but I think that the theme remaining between each trilogy is that there are characters that linger over from each trilogy. Like there's characters that linger over from the prequels. If you're looking at it from a chronological standpoint, there are characters that linger over from the prequels that go into the OG movies, and then these characters that are new in the prequels, quote, or new in the original movies, new quote unquote, are supporting characters in this new trilogy. And I don't know, I think it's really interesting, though it may seem like a retread of sorts. I'm rewatching episodes 7 and 8 today/tomorrow. So I'm watching them for the first time since I saw them in theaters, so I'm gonna see how I feel about them. But as far as episode 9 goes, I'm really hyped. I'm hyped for it. I've been avoiding all the trailers, all news about it. So I'm gonna try to go into this thing with a blank slate and see what happens when I come out. See how it wraps up these movies that I've been binging for the past few days.
You didn't watch all the Clone Wars and Rebels and everything.
Bro, ain't nobody got time for that. It's so much show. It's like 10 seasons of television? I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
God damn. But I'll watch them eventually. I'll get to it eventually.
Okay. Luke?
Yeah, Luke.
Oh, you're asking me. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I haven't really been keeping up with a lot of Star Wars stuff. Because again, I was never really the biggest fan of Star Wars. I liked the old movies. I tolerated the prequel stuff whenever I was, forced to go through them. Episode 7, when I watched it, I was like, this is okay. It definitely felt familiar. Episode 8, I honestly didn't have huge opinions about, but the more you think about it, the more you're like, I can kind of see why this might rub people the wrong way, and I can kind of definitely see the this whole homogenization of the actual style that the films are supposed to have. Because like if you compare it to the original movies and even the prequels to now, there's definitely like there's this level of like event surrounding them, as opposed, I think, to just individual story created by like a single mind or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, and again, I don't want to make that as like a thing that goes against those movies, because I mean, obviously they work, they have their fans, and I mean, like, if you like those new movies, I don't really blame you for it. That being said, episode 9, I'm just at a point where like episode 7 had this whole thing. It was like the first Star Wars thing we'd had in forever. Then we started getting Star Wars stuff every year, because that's what Disney does. They keep it in your consciousness. So I don't know, there's something about like it stopped becoming special and it just became like, oh yeah, Star Wars, you know, it's just a thing in my life again. And like
the Red Letter Media said that it's sporadically interesting now. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, that is kind of a good way. I haven't watched them in a while. I should try to get back with them. I think it's just a case of like I'm at a point where like Star Wars is just a thing that's there, rather than just like, oh, whoa, new Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
But like,
they should have spaced them out more.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe like every 2 or 3 years we would get like another Star Wars movie, but all the years in between we would get like these prequel movies. We would get like Rogue One. We would get like a new TV show with like Rebels and Solo and all these things, and it starts just becoming this like it becomes less of just these individual kind of stories, and it just becomes more like, I mean, it was always a franchise, but it just becomes more of like, oh, this is just Disney franchise, pump it out. And like, I don't think anything encompasses that more than the difference between the Porgs and Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda is better.
One is very much the product of like a boardroom meeting. The other one is just like, let's just make a cute thing. Porgs were created in a boardroom to manufacture cuteness, and nobody fucking remembers what a Porg is. Everyone knows everyone knows Baby Yoda, and Baby Yoda is going to stick around for a while, I think.
No one talks about Porgs anymore.
Because Baby Yoda is just so gosh dang cute.
He's adorable.
And
he's
the
part
part
of the story.
And he has a personality too. Baby Yoda does things. He like presses buttons when you tell him to stop pressing buttons.
He's so cute. Everybody loves that's the one thing the entire world is unified on. Baby Yoda is adorable.
Yeah.
Star Wars fan, not Star Wars fan, Nazi, hippie.
What are you talking about?
Baby Yoda is the best. Everyone loves Baby Yoda.
But bottom line, episode 9, if I watch it, I'll watch it, but it's at a point where like I didn't even remember it was coming out this week.
Yeah, one of my coworkers was like, "Oh, it comes out this week? I thought it came out in January." I'm like, "Damn, nobody knows, dude."
This thing's gonna flop. I'll be surprised if it makes like $50.
I'd say we can't go back to the negative. We can't go back to the negativity. That's what ruined me.
Yeah, I don't know. Post your thoughts down below. What do you guys think about episode 9? What are your thoughts on the Disney Star Wars in general, and how, or what do you want to see in this movie that'll somehow close up this entire 9 film arc?